Let's go to Roy in San Leandro. Hi, Roy. You're on with Willard and Dibs. What are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
What's cooking, man?
Nothing much. Hey,
all right.
Look,
good talk.
I just wanted to get in and talk about that situation.
What situation?
With Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
With Brock Purdy, you guys were talking about with you got to remember at the beginning of last season when the 49ers played the Bears and then they played Denver. Okay, what's his name? Trey Lance had his chance. Okay, I could overlook that game at against the Bears because that was the conditions were real bad there. But that second division, I mean, you got to remember, both of those teams are second division clubs.
Roy, you're remembering a little bit incorrectly, Roy. They didn't go to Denver second. They were home against Seattle, and Trey had the team up 3-0 when he got hurt. The Denver game was a disgusting performance, and that was handled by someone named Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is Jimmy Garoppolo, he lost that game against Atlanta too. So both what you and your other guest was talking about, I mean, both of them, need to just go, and the 49ers need to go in a whole different direction now. I mean, Garoppolo gone, Trey Lance, they need to get whatever they can for him, and that's all it is to it, man. Ain't no sense in even talking about them because he's had his chance. That's all I'm saying.
Roy, thanks. I do wonder this. I wonder what y'all think about this. The norm in the NFL, if you've got somebody who either you've paid a lot of money to, they've been in, they've achieved a lot in the league, or they're a high draft stock guy, and you choose to go in a different direction, you normally put them somewhere else, right? 49ers didn't have to get rid of Alex Smith when they decided to pick Colin Kaepernick, but you do that because it creates this. It creates every day, right? Click the microphones on, click the phones on, and everybody's going crazy about the quarterback. I think you can kind of get away with it here because the Niners have won and because both guys are young. But I don't know. What do you think? Do they need to get Trey Lance out just because it's becoming too much of a distraction or too much for them to carry on their shoulders?
I think it'll be that way this year if he's healthy and Brock is healthy. And if Trey Lance is QB3, for example, it's a big distraction. And if Trey Lance is QB2 and Sam Darnold is QB3, it's going to be even more of a distraction because every time Brock Purdy goes 3 and out, and if the Niners fall behind and Brock Purdy throws a pick, the cameras are going to go over to Trey Lance. There he is, the backup quarterback, Trey Lance. They used 3 first-round picks to take him. You see him there holding his helmet. He's listening to the helmet for the play call. Might this be a time that Kyle Shanahan goes to Trey Lance? It'll be a distraction. And if Brock Purdy balls out, then it'll be a distraction in the other way, which is, why do they still have Trey Lance? I mean, they used all those picks to take a guy, and now they won't play him. So, yes, I do agree with Roy in that point.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGM, ZFM, and HD1 San Francisco, always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. We're not there yet. I'm kind of with you, but maybe for a different reason. I said it off the top. Like, I think Brandon Allen is getting reps in these practices for a reason. I think Kyle signed Sam Darnold for a reason. I think he's saying what he's saying about Sam Darnold for a reason. Like, for God's sakes, he compared him to Steve Young a couple of days ago after practice. So if he's that hot after Sam Darnold and he's giving QB4 the same number of reps as Trey Lance, like, I don't think we need to pound this into the ground anymore. The 49ers have moved on in terms of putting their resources into Trey. They've moved on in terms of, here's our plan to make Trey Lance our quarterback. They've moved on. Brock Purdy's their quarterback now. Everything that happens behind him is up for debate, but only one of those 3 guys, A, carries any trade value, and only one of those 3 guys seems to not really be all that good as far as Kyle Shanahan's eyes are concerned. I mean, he can't stop praising the other 2.
Right, and we'll see what the actions are as we get into the first preseason game and we get closer to cut down day, because we know they're not going to keep all four of these quarterbacks. So if they end up keeping Sam and Trey, maybe they wind up as, both QB2s and they alternate days where one of them's going to be active on game day, one of them's not, or maybe they're both active on game day and they use one of the 46-man game day roster spots on a third quarterback. I doubt they do that. But Kyle Shanahan's going to have actions that determine his feelings more than what we know here in the end of July.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to address one of our YouTube viewers, and thank you every day for those of you who are on Twitch and YouTube watching. We really appreciate it. And the chat gets hot every single day. We get how that works. Francois has been in there talking a lot today, and we've been going back and forth a little bit. And he just threw out a comment that I really want to address. He says, where is the distraction if the guy is a backup? Let me explain this, okay? NFL teams do not want the whole world talking about their backup. I don't need to tell you where the distraction is. His name has come up on this show every single day for the last 6 months, unless Draymond and Jordan Poole are freaking out at one another. He is easily the most famous backup quarterback in the NFL this year. Easily the most discussed backup quarterback in the NFL this year. Teams don't like that. In fact, it's why, unfairly, Colin Kaepernick never got another shot. He was clearly better than some of the guys people were signing, but they don't want news in the backup room. That's not what they want. They want clarity. This is our quarterback. If we go to you, you're 2. And if we go to you over here, you're number 3. And they don't want all kinds of opinions and resource and controversy and hurt feelings. They don't want that. So could Trey Lance become a distraction? Sure. He hasn't become a distraction because he's such an awesome guy.
Yeah.
But he could have handled this the way all the young Warriors have handled it and got themselves traded.
Or into the Chronicle.
Or written about.
Right.
Exactly. Like, Trey deserves credit for the way he's handled this.
But it stinks. And some of the distraction is not up to him to either be a part of or not be a part of. And I spoke to this before about if Brock Purdy is struggling or if the team is losing, the camera and the producer of the broadcast will say, hey, let's get a shot at Trey Lance here. Niners are down 20-7, and Brock Purdy's fumbled once and thrown 2 interceptions. Let's see if we can't stir up a little controversy by showing the backup QB on the sideline with his helmet up to his ear listening to the play call. And that has nothing to do with Shanahan, Lance, or Brock Purdy. That controversy can be created by the dreaded media, Mark.
The media. Well, the real controversy, this is actually how it works. Your scenario, Brock Purdy's thrown a couple of picks. He's fumbled once. The Niners are down 17. The cameras at CBS or Fox keep panning over to Trey Lance. Trey Lance is looking for his helmet. The Niners decide to make a change. And right as Trey Lance reaches for his helmet, Sam Darnold runs right by him and grabs his. And he heads onto the field. Now what do you got? Now you've got Niner Nation losing its mind, and you've got a controversy. And what's the distraction? They don't want that. They don't want that. So I think if everything started tomorrow, I think that's where we are. I really do. Kyle Shanahan has got eyes for Sam Darnold. There's no 2 ways about it. There's no other way to read everything that's happened. Sign him on the first day of free agency. Flirted with him last year.
Share the number 2 reps with him.
Share the number 2 reps. Call it a competition. Grab Mike Silver and say, hey, come over here. I want to tell you something. I think the guy can be great. In fact, he might have the same arc in his career as Steve Young.
It's crazy.
And we're over here going, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? There's too much going on at the quarterback position. That's what's wrong. Teams don't want that. JW in the city with Willard and Dibs. Hey, JW, what are you doing?
Hey, good afternoon. First-time caller. I'm glad to be able to finally get a hold of you guys. I listen to you every night at work. And so I just want to talk about Trey Lance. And, I really think the young guy can come through. I want to see him be able to run with the first team. And And yes, I believe this year he's going to have an exceptional season if he gets the chance. The 49ers have always had an issue at quarterback and keeping them healthy. Why not just keep all three of them? Because I'm sure with Purdy, and I give Purdy all the credit, he had an excellent season last year, and I can respect that. This year, I'm looking for the defensive coordinators of other teams to change up and go after Purdy's weaknesses. I know when he drops back, he comes straight back, and then he tries to fade to the left and try to loop around the defensive end. Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to catch up with that.
So
but,
what if you're pointing out Purdy's weaknesses, what makes you think that Lance would be the answer? Like you know what I mean? What makes you confident in him? And by the way, let me quickly answer one other thing you said. Like they might keep all three. They very well might keep all three, but they've clearly got eyes for QB4 now as well. But going back to my question, you're pointing out Purdy's weaknesses, but you've got all kinds of confidence in Lance when we've barely even seen him.
Exactly. That's my point. Right. We barely ever even seen him because he never has really gotten an opportunity to show what he can do. I hadn't seen him work with the ones at all in any of the games. Shanahan called that ridiculous play and had him going up the middle, and he breaks his ankle.
Amen.
Damn, he's out the whole year. Okay? But
Speak
now,
on it, J-Dub.
Oh, gosh.
Talk to him, J-Dub. Talk to him now.
J-Dub, your energy is fantastic.
No, I love the take too, J-Dub.
Your way
ridiculous play call.
Your way is engaging. Thank you for calling us for the first time.
Caller of the deer of the day, J-Dub.
Caller of the deer. I appreciate it so much. Really do.
Combination of the day and the year.
Well, here's where I get stuck.
Call,
I don't want to. I'm not going to get bogged down in that stupidity.
I'm not getting bogged down either. I'm just trying to echo J-Dub.
You know, you're trying to get under my skin. But no,
it's a Friday. It's a non-payday
on
Friday.
On the way out the door. So,
did I mention ridiculous play call?
Anyway.
Anyhow.
Don't care about that part. That's been talked out. You
Broke
can have
the man's
your opinion.
ankle.
I know. Kyle Shanahan's an evil man, and he does. He
He's
wakes
out to
up,
get him.
He's like, I think I can draw up a play that can end this person's career. That's what he does.
That'll clean things up for the future.
But anyway, you put that whole thing aside.
Sure.
JW just represented, and I get it, but then I also don't. I understand it from an excitement standpoint. But a lot of you go, okay, I've seen Brock Purdy, and I see the weaknesses. Go, okay, so
Sure.
why are you confident in Trey Lance?
No, he's got no weaknesses, Mark.
Because you haven't seen him. And then they'll go, exactly, because we haven't seen him. And it feels like you all think that's a gotcha moment. See? We haven't seen him. You know
Therefore, he's better than Brock Purdy.
Which A, proves nothing, but my response every time will be, you know who has seen him?
Don't say it. Don't say Shanahan. He hasn't given him the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's the one. That's the word that's triggering for me.
The 49ers have seen him.
Opportunity, Mark.
They've seen him and they don't like him.
They gave him the opportunity, and he couldn't keep the opportunity because he got hurt. And then the opportunity got given to somebody else who came out and made the most of that opportunity. He went 7-1, and he won a game where he came off the pen, and the only game he lost was because his arm fell off, and so he was given the opportunity, not by choice. They chose Jimmy Garoppolo over Brock Purdy, and then Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. But the whole idea of opportunity in professional sports, to me, it's a dirty word because there's no such thing as opportunity. Jonathan Kuminga is not given any opportunity that he does not earn. And it's the same with Trey Lance. Trey Lance is not given the opportunity based on draft position. Last year, he got the opportunity because Jimmy G was unsigned in the kiddie field, and they didn't really have a better option. And so they said, you know what, Trey, we're going to give you the opportunity. And if Trey Lance didn't get hurt and he won 5 or 6 games to start the year, and he was mid, as your kids would say,
rare,
he would have kept the opportunity. But he didn't win, and he got hurt. And so that's why he didn't get the opportunity, and he may not get it again.
I wonder how this, and I don't know if what would have happened, but I wonder how this would all be playing differently if he hadn't gotten hurt But
he hadn't gotten him hurt. But
Okay,
go ahead.
thanks.
One
So-
more try. Thanks.
Let's say we're 6 games in.
Stan Dibley here.
We're 6 games in, and the Niners are 2-4, and they're not playing well.
And he's not hurt.
Trey played them all, and they go, we're going with Jimmy.
Jimmy.
By choice.
Right.
So how would the conversation today be different?
It'd be a lot different.
Don't you think?
Because he would have been given an opportunity in fans' eyes, and he would have been given a chance. So Trey Lance goes 2-4, not hurt, and he has 8 touchdowns, 8 picks, 3 fumbles, and you lose to the Bears, and you lose to Denver 11-10 because Trey Lance sashayed out of the back of the end zone, not Jimmy G, and all the things, because the Niners were 3-4, Mark. Remember that, with Jimmy and Trey, pre-Brock. So let's say that Trey started all those games and they were 3-4. And then Kyle said, I think we need to make a change and stuff. And I'm going to go to Jimmy because I'm not sure about Brock and stuff. Then we would feel completely different about Trey Lance, I believe.
I agree.
No, I agree with you.
And I think, I don't know how I can think.
No, just say it.
I think that might have happened. I believed all along that they brought Jimmy back as a hedge.